Participate. All right. No, we don't got anybody in here yet. We're just gonna roll with it, um, because this does pre-record. All right, it records afterwards, so we'll just kind of roll on with this. What I'm trying to do is test out my live because I got an idea to actually go live while I'm hunting, when that time comes. So what a better time to hash it all out than right now. I don't know if anybody will be able to jump on. We got nobody in chat right now. We're just gonna give it a go. Just hanging out. For those of you who are probably going to tune in at some point in time, I'm going to give it probably about 5 minutes, and if nobody jumps on, then I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. If we get anybody in, so my phone is sideways too, so I'm trying to think of how we're going to remedy that situation because of the scroll is going this way sideways for me right now instead of top to bottom. But I guess while we're here, we can kind of go ahead and start wrapping up some of the genetics video stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to do for my next video, for my next output, is kind of address and go over. I think there's probably only like one other thing that I have not kind of covered when it comes down to that. How's it going? Not sure who's viewing, but welcome into the first live of the channel, man. You're the first person to join up on the first live of the channel. So, anyway, I was going to button up some of the stuff about the genetics things. I know I really hit the genetic stuff hard, but I think it really well rounds us all together to understand that the better bred we are, the better the genetics are, the easier it is to pick a dog, the easier it is to pick a dog, the easier it is to train a dog, the easier it is to train a dog, the better time in the woods that we have, and the farther that we can kind of go. How's it going? Jim Nanny, what's up, man? Forgive me, dude, because the chat's going this way. How's it going? Jihad, is that? I'm sorry if that's wrong. Got to read it sideways. We're just in here hanging out. Oh, we got 10 people in. What's up, everybody? So right now my chat's running this way, reading this way. So if you guys comment, I got to turn my head and read it. I'm sorry. But anyway, I was talking about the genetics and kind of how that really plays a huge role, especially going forward for the whole length of a career of a dog, especially our hardships when it comes down to training these dogs, because when they're picked and selected better and they're bred better, it makes it such an easier time to be trained. As far as breeding goes, we're not just breeding for like one thing, right? A lot of guys tend to just go for the solid hunt drive. That's it. But there's so many other things we can train them to or breed them to be more trainable and stuff. So we jumped up to 14. Now we're down to 7. If y'all are in here, man, jumping down in the chat. Let me see. This is the first live for the channel. I think I'm gonna try running these a little bit more often. Maybe try running the live on a squirrel hunts or something like that when I get out and go hunting. We still got some time left of that. Maybe better to get it all figured out now. So, who's been doing any hunting out there, man? Y'all been getting in them woods? I know it's starting to get really warm around here. I wouldn't be getting in the woods unless it was for training stuff specifically right about now. We're getting kind of warm. We went fishing today. We got a bunch of fish caught, and my boy, he's really into eating them. So I told him, I said, guess what, man? You wanna keep them, you can clean them and eat them all you want to. Don't matter to me. But we got some decent ones, and we'll see how that all plays out. Well, thank you, man. Lamb, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, man, if y'all want to share or like or whatever, go right ahead. We got 4 of us in here right now, 5 total with me. We did go up to about 14 there for a second. I don't know if y'all want to share this around. If somebody would do me a favor and share this into probably the hound training group on Facebook, that'd be really nice. So we're just gonna hang out for a while, see how many people we can kind of get in here. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Um, I'll try to cover whatever. If you guys got any questions, anything like that too. I plan on being on for probably about an hour. How's it going, Ronnie? Thanks for joining in here, man. Everybody can hear me good and everything like that too. I'm assuming. Yeah, we're gonna try to maybe get a hold of some questions, even answer some questions, anything like that. If y'all got some questions, go ahead and drop them. Um, so one thing I did want to let y'all know, I've been noticing that what is it? Plus Points Hound Training. He's been doing some videos himself. He's been posting videos on Facebook himself. He's probably uh, got a lot more loud and clear here. Thank you, man. Um, he's probably got a lot more things that would get you guys hashed out in the long run of polishing up a dog, I would imagine. He does a great job. We had him on the podcast, and we had a great podcast. I thought we did a really good podcast with him. That is James Hadley, I believe, is his name. But that's Plus Points Coon Club. And again, if y'all haven't yet, get on the Facebook group, Hound Training and Tips and Advice group on Facebook. That's really good. Um, but yeah, so that was kind of the point of going on the whole genetics tangent there for a long time, is because if we can get the full picture of how a dog's bred and it's bred correctly, and we know what bloodlines it comes out of, we can know what to expect, right? Some bloodlines go ahead and go, oh, well, these dogs are going to start early for you. These dogs are going to start late for you. These dogs are going to win. Dogs are going to be trailing. Whatever the case may be. We can get a lot of information early based on paperwork and based on lineage and things like that. If we know our bloodlines, or if the people we're getting them from knows their bloodlines, which lends its hand to figuring out exactly what kind of dog you want to purchase. So it goes a lot into every facet of it all, and it all plays a role. And guys can have an extremely hard time getting a dog trained, and guys can have a really easy time getting a dog trained. But it is just kind of like one of those things that it's always a gamble. It never really matters how they're bred. It just kind of matters how well you click with that dog in particular in order to get it trained. Um, you hunt blue ticks? Dude, I'm a big fan of blue ticks. I'll tell you that right now. Some of my favorite dogs that I've had are blue ticks. I mean, I was a huge fan of walkers. I mean, everybody knows that on the channel for a long time. But I ran jet bred dogs. I was really liking the jet bred stuff. The first coon dog me or my brother even had, it was actually his dog, was a jet bred dog. And that dog it was something. He was something. He really was. We didn't get to get the papers on him, and my cousin handled all that, but we just kind of ran him and got him going and stuff, and trained on him. But super super smart dog. I mean, he jumped straight from drags to training coons for us, so that was pretty cool. Loudest dog I've ever been in the woods with by far. I mean, even out with other people. I mean, that dog was severely loud. Which helped out a lot because he was silent on track, so he'd go deep too. So the louder he is, you could hear him. I mean, up to about a mile, I'd imagine. I know I heard him one time from almost 2 miles, man, and that's not even a joke. We could go from where I lived to the fur trader, was about 2 miles up the road exactly, and we lost that dog one night, and we lost him for a few days, and I go out on my porch and listen for him, like he's got to be around somewhere. And sure enough, I heard him all the way down there, and we got in the truck and drove closer and closer to his bark and showed up down there, and sure enough, he was in the fur trader had him chained up out back. Somebody dropped him off over there. But you want to talk about a loudmouth dog? That's a 2 mile mouth on that dog for sure. Um, you almost thought somebody was whispering in your ear. He was so quiet at 2 miles, but have you heard him? I heard him at least. So we're back down to one, man. Yeah. So we're only going to go live for maybe an hour or so, something like that. got a male dog out of the Usman that had a good mouth. Okay, I got you. You mean an Uchman? This is Usman, something like that. Yeah. So the blue ticks are pretty good, man. For a lot of them, they're pretty cold nosed and they'll take a good track. And a lot of them tend to be honest. I haven't been around too many slick trained blue ticks. If I'm just being flat out honest, my personal experience. Okay, I got you. So the Uchmans are the big game bred dogs. I think Uchman has a lot to do with the Cameron blood and even the Smoky River blood stuff. And I believe nowadays big money dogs are got some Uchman in them. A lot of the dogs got Uchman in them. Yeah, I don't know too explicitly much about the big game bred stuff, but I do know that Uchman's one of them. Smoky River and Cameron are probably really good known blue tick big game lines. If you read much about Camerons, they tend to start around 2. A lot of people say they have a hard time getting them to start on coon, but if they do go ahead and start on coon, you got a knockout dog, like a really, really good dog. They're solid. So Cash was Smoky River, which I believe has a lot to do with the Uchman stuff itself. And like I said, that dog was the probably one of the most honest dogs I ever been in the woods with. He actually kind of very surprised me, especially right after he started. Never told a lie one time, so that was really good on him. I don't know if you are still in here. My counter's wrong, but it says we're down to 0. But we're gonna roll with it anyway, and we're gonna hang out and see what's all going on with everybody. Just waiting for the comments to start rolling in from you guys. What do you guys think about me doing more lives? Is anybody into that more? This is the first one that I've done for any of my YouTube channels, let alone this one, my biggest one. But it's cool, man. It's pretty cool to see that counter go up and read these comments and things. Welcome in, welcome in. Where's everybody from today? Let me know down there in the comments where you guys are all from, you know. Got 2 likes, 1 person watching. It's probably still Ronnie. Jim Nanny was in for a while. Well, we're just hanging out, trying to get some people in. That way we can answer some questions and things like that. I was kind of touching on and wrapping up a little bit of the genetic stuff. There's one thing that I didn't mention yet. I was going to make a whole video on it, but that is hybrid vigor. Okay, so this is a term that you can probably learn a lot about. So I don't know if anybody has watched any Breeders Academy on YouTube. So Breeders Academy is actually game fowl chicken breeding, and they do a whole entire course, and they have a whole entire subscription and a whole the whole 9 yards over there, and they teach you every single thing to do. West Kentucky, sweet man. We got family gatherings that happen down there in, well, it'd be Eastern Kentucky, not West Kentucky, so over by Sayersville and Paintsville and stuff like that. But so the Breeders Academy actually teaches exactly how to create your own breed of chicken, how to create a strain, bloodlines, how to breed correctly and properly, and all these things. But the one thing that they maintain over there is that all animals are basically bred, and the same kind of rules apply when breeding these animals together. So a lot of the stuff that you can learn at Breeders Academy, you can be applied to the dogs. So hybrid vigor. What is hybrid vigor? Hybrid vigor is basically when you take 2 animals and you cross them together, let's say unrelated animals or 2 different breeds of dogs, and you cross them together. So like we have these X-bred dogs. Okay, so X-bred dogs really took off. They really took off. Everybody was so upset. That's all I heard all the time. And these X-bred dogs are tearing us up. These X-bred dogs, I can't. They didn't even want them allowed, right? So the X-bred dogs, they didn't even want allowed. And the X-bred stuff took off, extremely took off. And now it's kind of just, it's just kind of any other old thing that happens. But the reason why the X-bred stuff took off so hard, and the X-bred dogs really started building up a lot of pressure in the compound world, is because of hybrid vigor. So we took this breed of dog and this breed of dog and we crossed them together. Well, because of hybrid vigor, they are bigger, better, stronger, faster, do it better, at least the first generation. So we know what hybrids are, obviously. So if you know what a liger is, a lion and tiger mixed, the liger is exponentially bigger than a tiger or a lion, right? And we know what a mule is. A mule is a donkey and a horse bred together, and they make such a better working animal, right? So, but the problem with the liger and with the mule is they're sterile, so they can't reproduce. But the crossbred dog can reproduce, but you have the issue that you can't replicate or reproduce hybrid vigor, right? So it doesn't go. We cross the two together, they make a really exceptional animal, but that animal is only exceptional because of the cross. It is not going to push that forward, right? So a lot of the crossbred stuff, all you really need to do is just keep crossing the original two together and throwing out those hybrid vigor animals. But taking the X-breds and breeding those together doesn't make another hybrid vigor animal. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of, it had a really big boom for a long time, and then it kind of just went away, right? And a lot to do with the hybrid vigor stuff is what happens too is if we have two lines of animals and we cross two lines together, hybrid vigor can happen as well. So when we have line bred vigor, just a hybrid vigor happen out of a cross, and then we take a really awesome dog and be like, man, he's so good, we made this cross, it was awesome, let's go to breed him and try to make that go again, and it doesn't work. It's because of hybrid vigor. And when we cross, we lose purity of bloodlines and we lose work. Okay, so we lose a lot of work when we cross lines with other lines, or if in fact we take the head of a line and we breed it back down into the line, because we're reintroducing all of the stuff that we kind of bred away from and selected out of the bad stuff. So we're reintroducing all the bad stuff. How's it going, Mike? Welcome in, man. Yeah, I'm trying out the live stuff today. I figured I'd give it a shot. We've been on for about 20 minutes now. I'm going to go for about an hour. Hopefully that the timing of the comments and the timing of what I'm saying is pretty okay. But yeah, man, how's it going out there? I'm glad to have you guys in here. But that's where I was go back. So I'm trying to button up the. Might as well have some content to go over while I'm on here. But I really want to answer some questions or talk with you guys. Anything that y'all want to do, man. I'm just testing out the live situation. But I was kind of talking about the hybrid vigor and crossing bloodlines together, and how hybrid vigor it doesn't pass on after the first cross, right? So we can get hybrid vigor out of a cross, and they'll be faster, tougher, stronger, better trained coons, better everything across the board, better. But then you go to try to recreate, you go to breed that animal, and it doesn't pass on forward because of hybrid vigor. And I was talking a little bit, for those of you that just kind of popped in, I was talking a little bit about the Breeders Academy. So you can look on YouTube for the Breeders Academy. They do podcasts, they do different types of things on here. They have great information. I mean, it's explicitly supposed to be for game fowl, so breeding chickens, but a lot of dog guys go ahead and watch them too. A lot of any animal breeders basically watch these guys, because breeding and the idea behind breeding pretty much is all the same as we go on for any animal. We do got different things and different chromosomes, numbers, and all this kind of stuff that goes into all this stuff without getting like too scientifical on it. But to have a good roundabout idea is probably the best way to go. I seen, Mike, that you made a breeding, man. I seen that. Jake Fryer just dropped some pups too. He made a really good breeding. I really believe that. He's probably at work or getting ready to go to work or something like that. But I talked to him for a while the other night and talked about his pups and things like that, because he got a really good stud dog, and it was a good breeding for his female, and he just dropped some puppies. You should be having some puppies come around pretty quick, huh? I seen that breeding. That was looked like a pretty older dog to pretty young dog, so I'm assuming grandparent kind of thing, maybe something like that. Let's see. I should have pups coming from 4 different females. Oh wow. Okay, so you really been putting in some work out there. That's good. That's really good though. Get that spread around and try to figure out. Give us a better chance of selecting what we want out of there, man. So that's good. I should have pups coming from 4 different females. So you got stud dog then. So you're studding a male, or you got all 4 of the females yourself. Anybody ready to get a hold of a new dog this season or coming up for season? Well, my season don't start here for a while. All are good bred females. Yes, I have the stud. That's good, man. So the kind of the deal that shook out for me and getting that Tilly bred was a pup back deal. Pup back deals are probably they're the most bittersweet deals. Okay, pup back deals they save you from having to pay a stud fee, but they also save you from not getting first pick, right? So it'd be really nice if people were like, "We'll take second pick," but if they got the stud dog, they want first pick of the litter. And I've heard it and I've seen it. I've seen it on Facebooks before, or different other videos of different dog people that I've watched. That they'll do a pup back breeding and then they'll go get a pup, but then they find out that the people hid a pup. So they picked a pup that they liked and they hid it. I hunt Walker Redbone Cross Rat Attack. Blood on Walker's side. Haven't attempted to try to register yet if possible. Yeah, you should be able to register them. So you should be able to single register them or even get a what is that called? A performance listing. So they'll give you a number to go to hunts and you can actually partake in hunts. It might be a little bit harder because of its being a crossbred, but if both of the parents have a UKC number, you should totally be able to register them. Especially single register, even all you do is just give them the information and then they will handle it from there and they'll probably actually go ahead and give you a X bred thing. I've bred for half of each litter. Okay, man, you know what you're doing for real. Mike ain't playing around, you guys. Mike's a pretty serious guy, and I enjoy that you've come on the channel and watch me. Sometimes I think like, man, Mike's watching me laughing at me, dude. That's because he takes it so serious. I see him out there. He's at the hunts and he's doing the big do. It's actually really easy to register an expert. Oh, really? Uh, I don't know. I haven't dealt with too many X breds. But it should be no different than registering any other dog. And they should automatically, I believe, they automatically go ahead and register them as an X-bred for you. You don't have to do that. So they take the information from the mom and the dad, and then they'll automatically give it an X-bred. I believe UKC is actually kicking off a really big X-bred cur program these days. So even X-bred cur stuff is really starting to take off and be registerable. Yo, exactly. And yeah, man. So I would definitely try to get them registered. The only drawback to not having a registered dog is you just can't compound them, and even yet you can still get numbers and things to go ahead and compound them still. You have to watch exactly which one you do. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of the registries actually require that you spay and neuter your animal, spay or neuter your animal to be a part of a particular program. That may be a AKC thing, but AKC doesn't do night hunts anyway. So UKC, NKC, and registries like that actually hold the hunts. Let's see. Worst thing is if you ever. Worst thing is if you ever. Okay. Show you can't show expert. Yeah, so I think there's a lot to do with that. They're not because I don't think you can have a breed standard for an X-bred animal, because you would have to develop every combination of X-bred that there is and develop a standard for it. but because they're X-bred, you can't guarantee what's going to come out. So you could cross a Walker and a red tick, and all the puppies be red tick, or all the puppies be Walker looking, well, on the eyesight kind of thing. You can't just be like, oh, they're going to be perfectly half. And you can't, I believe you can't hold show points if you're going to, or you can't hold show titles if you're going to do that performance listing kind of thing. Yeah, there's no breed. Yeah, there's no breed standard exactly. So now that we're on breed standard, I will just say it's always a good idea to try to stay within breed standard or as close to breed standard, because when we're going forward like that, it's really easy to get out of hand, right? It's really easy to get out of hand, and I know, like, I talked a lot about doing top lines, fixing top lines and things like that. I know a lot of guys aren't really concerning about the conformation. I'm not exactly all that concerned about conformation myself, but if we want to get technical about it and things like that, we kind of should be, because that keeps us within kind of a safety net of picking and moving forward as a cohesive standard, right? And that keeps us within a breed. Then we don't end up with things that happen like, well, these guys are feist, but this guy has went out and made a strain of it, and they're 2 feet taller than every other single feist out there, but they struggle to get a breed recognition, and because of that, then they don't show, they don't do things like that, right? So, or color, right? So colors faults. So I think it would do us all a good solid thing to glance over it just to get a good idea, right? Some faults that you can't even show, go through certain dogs, right? So I know, I want to say that what is it, heterochromia, something like that, where you have two different color eyes. That is a big fault in a lot of breeds. I enjoy showing them, but some of the ugliest dogs I've ever had were awesome. That's about how it works out, Mike. That is one thing, and that's one thing that everybody knows. I think it's because guys just get so wrapped up into, let's breed the hunting together, let's breed the hunting together, and then you don't even know what you got, but they hunt, they hunt, and I've seen some crazy dogs, man. I seen a English dog one time, and I tell you one thing, dude. He had probably ears this big. They were probably like, look shorter than a feist dog ear, and he was gigantic. I mean, he was pushing, probably over 100 pounds easy, and he was huge. But the dog, man, he would chop a tree. He'd chop a forest in half. He chopped so fast. He won chopping or a tree in contest. He did pretty good, but he was just so out of whack for a conformation dog, And yeah, yes, it's the same comment. But yeah, he was kind of like so out of whack for confirmation. But he really, the first time I put that dog in the woods, that was a friend of my buddy. So I hunted with this guy for quite a lot, and we'd train dogs, and he would just always go through a dog, go through a dog, go through a dog. And I had my dog that would get it done. And one day he's like, I want to have my buddy come over and bring his English dog. I was like, go ahead, and I don't care. We can run them all together. And man, I thought I had a pretty tall dog, so I had a really leggy Walker dog. I mean, he was so leggy and so tall, and I thought he was a goofy looking dog myself. And we cut him loose, and that English dog hit a tree, and I mean probably 140 barks a minute, dude. And as soon as I heard that dog, I said, "Is that dog out there chopping that tree down like that?" I said, "You need to put him in a treeing contest at least, because I've never heard a dog chop so fast in my life." Which, what do you do? I did have an English dog myself. I thought he was pretty, not too good on the eyes, and he probably had it was my brother's dog first, and I got it from him, but he had one of the most crazy problems I ever came across. LOL, Kane only barks 149. Jeez. Yeah, I know, dude. I seen that one video, and he was really going at it, man. He was tearing it up, dude. And I like that, Sometimes that was my big thing back in the day. I heard a dog chopping like that. It was something. I don't really do the ball mouth on the tree stuff so much. I mean, you could do the locate, but I like a chop mouth dog. I guess it doesn't really matter to me. I've ran every combination of barking on a dog that there is, but something about a dog being able to bark 149 barks a minute is something. I will say that. I mean, that's something to witness right there, dude. 2 barks a second. That's over 2 barks a second. That's almost getting, a bark, 2 barks and a quarter a second. That is something crazy. Yeah, if y'all haven't seen it yet, go over and check out Mike's page. He's got some videos of Kane over there treeing, and he will chop a tree down. That's good, man. I think it just shows intensity. It shows determination. It shows, a dog that is bound and determined, to go ahead and get whatever's up that tree and figure that whole thing out. That's good. I like that. I had a bad habit on the channel for a long time, calling every dog that I referenced doing good was a chop mouth dog, and I had to stop myself from doing that. But that's just, me being in my own head, me thinking my own thoughts and my own preferences, and I try not to blanket my own preferences over this stuff. I think I do a pretty good job, but certain stuff like that slipped. That one slipped for about 6 or 8 months. Me saying, if it gets into a good chop. Yeah, but, what do we do? So we got a couple people hanging out in here, man. Who's all in here? We got Mike in here. I know that. We had a couple guys starting off there. So if you guys don't know, you guys can get merch from the shop. You guys can email me. You guys can get on Facebook. I still got the Dogtra link if you guys want discounts at dogtra.com. I haven't really heard too much from Dog and Hunt, but I keep their stuff. That was really nice of them to send me. But yeah, man, they just came out with a new vest. I actually reached out to them, trying to maybe see about getting a couple so I can do a review on the channel, or maybe try to get a giveaway done. But I'm gonna have to do a little bit better job of trying to breathe some fire down these people's necks to get back a hold of me and talk to me and stuff, because it's real easy to brush me off, because I'll call you up, and if you don't bother with me, I don't bother again. So I'm not one to be out here kind of begging around, you know what I mean? Oh, I did have something, guys. So if anybody's on here right now, I did have a YouTube thing email to me that there's a company wanting to reach out to me to review another shot collar. So if y'all want to see me do that, just let me know and I'll go ahead. I'm kind of getting over the he's a chop mouth track dog, but one locate and right into the tree. See, I love that. That's one thing that I don't like a dog that dilly dallies to tree. Some dogs, you can kind of hear them pilfering around a lot, around the bottom of a tree, or they might go in there, come back out a little bit, and just kind of pilfer for, I don't know, a minute, something like that. I like to know, I don't want a dog to hit its locate until it's ready to start chopping. And when it's really easy to tell, man, when you have a dog that, like what you're saying, he's chop on track, it locates with a ball, and then goes right into the tree. That's exactly what I like myself. I've been struggling with my dog trail lately, not picking up past 250. Really? Do you have the Pathfinder 1 or the Pathfinder 2? Because I haven't ran the Pathfinder 2 all that much. I plan on doing a lot more running with it, obviously, this season. But the Dogtra, the Pathfinder 1, dude, I never had a single issue with it at all. Like, I never even dropped a signal. Like, it was on the money all the time. You might have a damaged antenna. I know when I was running with that dude that had those 5 black and tan pups, he ended up leaving the collars on the dog one night when he put them in their kennel, and they chewed the antennas off. And after that, the tracker would only track probably about 400 yards, and then it would cut out. So it might be an antenna issue. Outside of that, if it's the Pathfinder 2, I haven't ran it enough to know if about any issues with it. I'll definitely, that's not any good. I know Jake was telling me about some water getting one of his Garmin's and messing a collar up too. So maybe that little button where the charging port is got some water in it. So how many dogs do you push, Mike? How many dogs do you push in the hunts? Is it just the one, or you got a couple going? Shout out to everybody else that's tuned in right now. If anybody's got any questions, man, just let them drop them down here. You guys want to say something? Feel free, man. I'm here right now, and I'm reading them, and we're going through them. Just talking just a little bit about buttoning up some of the genetics things. Talking a little bit about the crossbred dog stuff. Talking about some chop mouth dogs for sure. Dogs that like to hammer down a tree. Um, Sometimes, you know what I really like, and I think this kind of plays against itself, is kind of, I like a dog that if they've taken a really long time to get on to push a track, but they've stayed locked on that thing, when they find that tree, it's almost like they tree two times as loud as they ever have before because they're like, I got that sucker, you know? They're like, they really get after it, and it's like they almost have an explosion on the tree. That's some of the great stuff that I like to hear too. It's their original one. I talked to Dodra and they said it was my phone. So I bought another phone, changed antennas on the transmitter and collars. Still doesn't work. Oh, really? So that's kind of different. Um, I don't see why it would be a phone problem to begin with because, yeah, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I do know that they just updated the app though too. Have you made sometimes they did an update for the Pathfinder 2 and they also I believe did a update for the Pathfinder app. And if you click on your app, you should be able to go into properties or something like that. But if you go into the menu that you can get by holding onto the app and looking at the settings for the app, you might be able to check and see if the app itself is updated because that could be a thing too. If it's the thing, but if you got a new phone and you downloaded a new app, it's probably fully updated. So man, I honestly couldn't tell you. Is it only on one collar or is it on all the collars? Because that could be, you know, if it's on every collar you got, then it might be something not the collars. But if it's only one collar, it might be the collar. You know what I'm saying? So we just don't know. Yeah, there's my Pathfinder 2. Um, I'm glad I got that, but I've kicked myself in the butt so many times for going down to one collar instead of having more because sometimes I like taking my other dogs out in the woods, but now I really kind of can't. Okay. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear Tilly's out there. She's barking, so might have to go out there and get after her a little bit. She keeps it up. she, them dogs do what they want out there, man. I know my neighbors get so tired of me because it's all good. I'll check on that. Yeah, yeah. Definitely make sure that all your apps are up to date. And if you went to a new phone and had to re-download the whole app again, I don't see them downloading an out of date app. The collars as well. Okay, so I don't know about the Dog Pathfinder 1 because they only ever did. I've got three collars and it's on all of them. Okay, so on this one right here, so on the Pathfinder 2, the last update that they just did, it was probably 2 weeks ago. I had to update the receiver and I had to update the collar. But how I updated the collar is through the phone, right? So I go onto my phone, go onto my device list, and it actually told me on the Pathfinder 2 that the collar was out of date and I needed to update. So it could be something as simple as that. I hope so, man, because that's kind of sucks if it's on all three of your collars won't track past 250. Maybe your dogs just don't tree nothing past 250, Mike. maybe they just don't go farther than 250, dude. That would be the best case scenario, I think. Mike said, my guard, it won't track farther than 250. What's the farthest your dog ever treed? 100? Okay. Okay, Mike. I'm just messing with you, man. But yeah, that definitely is not okay. And I wouldn't let Garmin or dogs from mess you around too much either. If it's he's still having that problem, I'd keep bothering him about it because that's not right. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying. I know that's gotta suck real bad. Uh, Better have a real good minded dog, obviously. So I'm gonna go probably about 20 more minutes, guys. Got about 20 more left. He generally trees within a quarter of a mile, but he's gone over a mile before. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can only wish they'll stay under 100 and tree something every time. That'd get pretty boring after a while, I think. Uh, I've had, if you've been on it a lot, some dogs go through really hot spells, man. They just get really hot and they will just slam a tree, slam a tree, slam a tree. And it's almost like, well, can I hear you run track for a little bit longer? I'm tired of walking to these trees so much. But then, that's what we want, especially if we're comp hunting and got to tear them trees up, man. And I think there's just a balance there. I know a couple of the comp hunts I went to, and I'm just like, can we do something other than walk to a tree? you know, but it's good. It's all good, man. It's really good that dogs are put together well enough to go ahead and just slam a tree and slam a tree and slam a tree for you. Whatever it is. He's usually treed within 6-7 minutes every way out. Okay, so this is the big one, and me and my cousin kind of hashed this one out back and forth. Now, do you guys time from the time you cut loose, or do you time from the time that they strike? Because I think some guys time from the time that they strike. Um, if I cut a dog loose, well, I'm not going to say that anymore. I don't pressure dogs anymore, and I don't, get upset if they don't do nothing in a time frame anymore. But as soon as that leash gets clipped, you got 20 minutes. Period. I don't care what it is, and that's maximum. Um, from when we turn them loose. See, there you go. Yeah, you were telling me about this in one of the comments that we were talking about. That usually within 10 minutes, man. I'm telling you what, I don't know why you're watching my channel, Mike. you got. I mean, that's good. That is really good, man. Yeah, that's very good. And Jim Nanny, you got to finish your comment, man. It says I wish my something, but yeah, he's really quick. There was one I talked about this on the channel, maybe on a podcast. My cousin had a female walker dog, and oh my god, dude, I was ashamed to even be hunting with that dog because that dog would tree like that. I mean, she would have a tree slammed in about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes every time. It didn't matter. Every time we cut that dog, slam, put on a tree, and I would just be, my dog's still over there, just didn't even get in the tree line yet, and your dog's slamming a tree. But that just kind of goes, that kind of goes with the territory of getting out and hunting with other guys and seeing what's out there. It really opens your eyes into what's an exceptional dog and what is kind of a ho-hum kind of dog and a dog that's really, really bad, I think if they'll tree one, I'm good with it. Take an hour, take 10 seconds. It don't matter to me. Let's see. I wish mine was not so tight. Like, I enjoy hearing a good race, even when it takes an hour. Yeah, see, that's kind of my thing too. And I think, when we're looking at to be getting real serious about it, and we're getting to be real, taking things really serious in the world of timely fashion and staying on task and moving through the woods and doing what you're supposed to do. A dog that takes an hour is like shooting yourself in the foot. It's like, pulling teeth or something. But then on the other side of that, I want to relax a little bit, man. I don't want this high powered dog all the time. Like, give me something that'll take a while to run so I can kind of pilfer and let me, hang out and get through the woods and walk the tree. And I got a dog that's treed out there. It don't matter how long take to get to him. He ain't gonna wear out, ain't gonna tire out, ain't gotta conserve energy or get to him fast. And I can just get out there and do what I want to do and let the dog do what it does and just have a good time. And especially, like you said, a dog that'll run a good track, even if it takes an hour. That's a dog that's real messy on track really eats me up bad. I don't care. You could tree a coon in 1 minute, but if you ran messy track, you aggravated me. That's that's how I kind of feel about it a lot of the time. And let's see, Jim. There's nothing like a good cornfield race. Oh man, dude. Yeah, till you're out there getting your eyeballs sliced open by the leaves. and and no, there's not, man. Them coons, they will give them such a run for their money, dude. Especially if the corn's up and the corn's high. And you just some of them dogs, dude, are really, really good about getting them pushed straight out of the corn, right up a tree. Other dogs, they're out there having a time of their lives. I think it kind of just depends on how close or how far off a dog likes to keep track running, right? Because we can have a dog that wants to hit something and then push it really tight and stay really close on it and light up and light up and light up while they're kind of right there. And other dogs are like, oh, I'm getting kind of close. I kind of want to piece of him yet. Let's bark back here and he'll push on and let the coon keep a good, 20, 30, 40 yards on them as they're pushing them to, let's see, can't win competitions without the trees though. And lots of hunts are 1 hour long. Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's exactly right. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Some, and you know what, man, it's kind of sometimes a solid dog that's real honest, that always has it, even though he's a little bit slower, he can kind of pull through and do pretty good in those hunts because it's not that the quick dogs ain't better, but it's like you can you have a lot of misfortune that can end up happening to you over multiple trees versus just one. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot more chances to get minused. You got a lot more chances to get circled. Things like that. And some guys, dude, and like I think we were talking about it before too, Mike. Some guys are just handling fools, dude. They could handle a win out of a hunt and not even ever put a dog in the woods, and that goes a long way. Um, I really, I guess I really didn't kind of care too much about that or pay too much attention about that until I actually went and did the state hunt and checked those guys out. Those guys they were every trick in the book they were trying to pull out, and they were arguing back and forth, and they were nitpicking rules and everything. And ultimately, sometimes that guy just argues with you for that one extra minute. You've had it because he ran your time down or whatever the case may be. Kane will push a track in the corn for about 5 minutes, then comes run the outside and shove him up a tree. Exactly. See, I think I like a dog that's real tight-lipped um, until it's got it, and then it'll hammer off for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and then have it up a tree, even if that. Um, some guys don't like him. That'd almost be kind of like a silent treat track dog. I'm not into the silent tracking thing too much. I had a couple dogs. Cashman would silent track on a cold one, and that jet dog that I was talking about a little bit earlier, he was silent track across the board. Um, I like a dog that's real tight lipped. I don't want a dog to open up until he knows he's got it, because those dogs that open up, 100 yards away from it and let the cat out of the bag, and now you've got to run all night and all night and all night because they gave the coon 100 yards on them. If they hold their tongue and strike up on them real when they're right on them, they'll have them up a tree pretty quick. Yeah, and another thing that I noticed too is a dog that is real mouthy all the time and is real quick to pop off and let that strike go. If they're not on a hot one, if they're just kind of out there doing regular kind of business, generally it'll take them a lot longer to tree something because they're more okay with moving at a slower speed. But like those quiet dogs, man, those quiet dogs that are tight-lipped, they're the ones that want to peel out and they want to get it found and get it done. And they're not messing around. And even if it takes them a good, 10 minutes to get out there to find something, but they fucking, oops, excuse me, but if they tree it, if they strike and tree it, that was almost a bad one for me, guys. But if they strike out and they tree it, yeah, quiet dogs are generally more accurate and don't have to go so far. Exactly. I think they move a lot faster too. That's my point. That's kind of what I was getting at. I think they move a heck of a lot faster and they mean a lot more business. Um, some dogs do, especially. I don't know how you guys feel about babbling in a box or if you guys babbling any. I don't mind a dog that babbles, uh, but after you cut him, you don't keep babbling. You can babble while you're in a box a little bit or while you're on a leash a little bit. But if you come off that leash, you better have been babbling because you want to go so fast. You don't be babbling because you want to go babble. Don't be barking on the end of my leash so you can bark from the second I cut you. That's a bad habit. I don't really care for much myself. And a dog that just is about business is a dog that's about business. And a dog that just gets it done is a dog that gets it done. And a dog that fiddles around is a dog that fiddles around. Um, as long as we have a tree. One of my buddies had about I don't know, 8 or 9 year old Walker dog. And I don't care where you cut that dog at. It probably she was old and it took her a long time to move through those woods. But if that dog treed, it was something in that tree every single time. That is a good pup trainer to me. We ran pups with that female for a while, but moves real slow. Don't make a whole lot of noise. Gets to the tree, trees up. You walk there, you got a coon every time. Have plenty of open. Oh, I can't have a dog open in the yard, box, or on the leash. He'll have plenty of time barking on track in the tree. Yeah, I get that. And a lot of guys are really, really adamant and really particular about that. So for me, I like, yeah, I don't ever really run the dog box much, anyways. But I always think I'm really excited when I'm training a dog that if they're excited enough to be babbling, that it's good. There's a certain point to where, just like I don't know, like this year around with even Tilly, she's totally different than a coon dog, so I shouldn't even bring it up to kind of mix it, as an example. But she don't babble or bark on track, but Cashman. When I was training on him before he kind of treat his first one, if he got to babbling a little bit or got to being excited on the way to the woods, that was a really good sign for me to go, okay, he's starting to come around, and it's good inkling. The older dog, no, no, don't. I guess that's why we hang on to these dogs for a long time because I think that's how I kind of am in general. Is I kind of let you do what you want to as long as you're doing what I want you to do. But then as we get keeping on to you for a little bit longer, then you're going to get tightened up on. Then it's going to be the no babbling. Then it's going to be the no barking in the kennel. No, you're going to get your rules and you're going to mind your rules. But that first trainings and that first getting going kind of stuff, I don't want nothing getting in the way of the dog doing it. And some dogs, they take advantage of it and they really make you regret it. And other dogs, make big bounds and leaps early, for you or right on track. And that's one thing that I was kind of going over. I don't know if I've put that video out, and I haven't. I haven't. So I'm not going to let that cat out of the bag just yet. Maybe I will do it on this instead of the podcast. But I was kind of talking about this in the podcast. Is guys can be as particular as you want to be about whatever, and every single guy has a different thing that they're particular about. One thing that I'm particular about, and I don't really care much for at all, is a dog jumping on me. Tilly is extremely bad for it, and her time is about up, right? So her time is about up. I can't stand this. I don't want a dog, a hunting dog. A house dog might be a little bit different, but my hunting dogs, you better not jump on me at all. And I've let Tilly slide for about a year on that, and she's going to get cleaned up this year. but that would be kind of one of my particulars on that, right? So everybody's got their little things that they're particular about, and we kind of have to roll with the punches on that. A lot of new guys ride them around in a box, and well, I'm not gonna say a lot of new guys, a lot of new dogs, new pups get rolled around in the box, and they get shock trained and shock trained and shock trained to not babble, to not bark, to be quiet. And is that what we should be kind of addressing so early? Maybe particularly wise, yeah. If you're particular about it, go ahead. But we got to be able to, understand that if that's got bad side effects, that's what we deal with. I'll give you a perfect example. So went out hunting with my cousin and this older dude, and this older guy had, I don't know, probably like a Grand Night Champion female walker dog that was older, probably 5 or 6 years old, and he had a pup that was probably only 4 months old. And that's the only two dogs that we took out, and we put the collars on the dogs and we put them in the box, and we're going down the road, and the man sitting up front, and he's shocking and shocking and shocking the older dog for barking in the box, and she just will not shut up. And he finally had enough of it, and he said, "Pull over because I'm going to get her out of that box. I'm gonna whoop her." He's shocking the dog, shocking the dog. He gets her out and realizes he had been shocking that 4 month old puppy that whole entire time. And what that done to that dog, I couldn't tell you. I don't know exactly, but I know things like that can happen, and it's kind of like, well, that's the lumps we take. Let's read some of these comments. I'm going to try rigging my hounds this fall on public land. Jim Nanny, yeah, that'd probably be pretty good, man. Where I live, you gotta really put so much effort into the dogs because there's so many professional hunters so close. Where are you from, Jim? I'm Northeast Missouri, West Kentucky. Um, I've hunted there. That's rough. Yeah, man. If you can rig, um, my thing about a rig dog is, and I've kind of always just thought this way about it, and that's why I would ride around with my windows cracked or whatever. Let my dog hang its head out the window and see if he had to rig something for me, and that could kind of be what's going on with a lot of these dogs too in the box and the things like that. But typically, you got to have them up on the box, or you got to have them where they're free aired, and they'll catch a whiff of something, because you can't really trust that you're going down the road and then a gust of air came in this side of the dog box and the dog's barking up, but the coon's a mile down the road, or whatever it is, moving real slow, having them leashed up on the top of the dog box, letting them have free reign to go ahead and bark and do that whole thing. Um, a rig dog is going to be totally different than a dog that can rig and wind, and then a rig dog and a wind dog is going to be totally different than the dog that you cut out of that box to go up in there and find that track that they're winding, that they're rigging, right? Because literally a dog, especially windy type dogs, when you're training them, you can kind of see. We spent one night over here running and training on this black and tan dog, and she was a really windy nose dog. She put her head up a lot, and the wind would blow this way, and you see her with her head up going this way. The wind blow that way, her head going this way. So they got to know what they're talking about. A rig dog can identify if something's around, but you got to have the dog that when you get it off and send it in there, it's going to go figure out what it's supposed to do. A bad wind dog would mess you all up, all over the place. I had a dog treat at 200 yards. Took an hour to get to him. Oh man, we run into a lot of that down here with the swamps and stuff. I can only imagine how it is down there in Kentucky and things like that. Late to the party, took hobo to the woods for a stretch. What's up? We're just kind of talking back and forth. I know Jim Nanny was just bringing up he wanted to try to do some rigging with his dog. We've covered a little bit of stuff, guys. I might only hang out for about another 10 minutes though. This is kind of what we're doing. If y'all want me to do more of these, just let me know, because I'll probably have time here or there to do lives. I think that's pretty good to get on here and visit with y'all, man. Yeah. So what do you got? Okay, so JT, What do you think about it, Mike? Uh, do you take them in the woods, or are you just taking them on a walk in the daytime? I'm here 3 nights a week from October to February. Try to keep them around 1,000 yards or less. Yeah, I can imagine how rough 1,000 would be in Kentucky, man. Yeah, yeah, or really. That's how it goes, dude. Everybody's got their own particulars that they need, you know. Even right here by me, to get to some land that I'm comfortable with or used to, I got to drive a couple 3 hours to make it, you know. And right around here, these state lands ain't too bad, but they're definitely not what I'm used to, and that just goes into a whole lot of different things. Taking them through the woods right now. See, I don't, man, that's such a rough call. As long as you got a good handling dog and you're not worried about outside factors like sight chasing or something like that, but if they's used to it, that's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so the swamps would get you. Them swamps will get you so bad. A good swamp dog is worth something to me, at least. Anyways, let's see. I'll be hunting tomorrow night, buddy. Been in Florida for 9 days tomorrow, right now. I, what did I even say? I'll be hunting. I'll be hunting tomorrow night, buddy. Been in Florida for 9 days, coming through Arkansas in a little. Yep, depends on which parts of Tennessee I'm in, but like one between 500 or 800, but depends on the dog. Yeah, see up here for me, I think we've had so much coon population, not exactly where I'm at now, but a little bit downstate, a little bit farther south. Um, 350, dude. Uh, there's so many coons down there that if you're going over 350, you're working a little too hard. We all see it. We've all had it happen. If we put dogs in the woods together, your dog goes 400 this way, and this dog goes 150, and trees one right there on the right hand side. You know, and it's kind of like, guy, you should have did that one instead of going out there. Um, and I guess that also plays a big role on when they strike up too. You know, so when they're striking distance means a lot. But if a dog's gonna strike something and then run 1,500 yards, you're doing something I don't think you shouldn't be. He's a pup still not getting more than 50 yards. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the way that I've looked to do that is definitely want to walk them in the woods, especially when they're green and stuff like that. But as soon as I start doing any type of training for them, I think it does a huge favor to get them at night. So, one thing that can happen is a dog will get real scary at night, right? So they can be kind of scared of the dark ish, and that's never a good time to break that. And but get him in the woods at night. So Cash Man, I think, was the dog that had the least amount of daytime anything I've ever put on a dog. He was nighttime, 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 nighttime walks, nighttime everything, just to make sure of that, because the hunting pressure. A lot older guys here rig and road hunt dogs. Puts coon deep on public land too. I gotcha. Yeah. Hey man, I can't tell you how to hunt in Arkansas. You know, I can't tell you how to hunt in Tennessee or Kentucky. I can tell you how to do a little bit up here in Michigan. I haven't really did a whole lot of out of state running and stuff, and I'm sure that there is just some things that I say as a Michigan dude that some guys as a Florida guy go, he's out of his mind, you know, or however that works out. But I'm gonna do about 5 more minutes, y'all, and I'm gonna have to hop off here. Agreed, totally. I walk him at night too. He goes with us when we hunt older dogs, but he's still too young to keep up with them. Yeah, so that's one thing that I kind of talked about, and I don't couldn't even tell you which video, is that taking a pup and shoving them with a dog that's a little too fast or a little too rich for their blood, so to speak. It it can kind of cause things that you don't want. depending on how long or how much you run them with them. But it's a real confidence beater for a pup to always, always, always be second, or always, always, always be last, right? And a lot of guys will get after a pup when they're walking down the tree, and you got the older dogs just slam put on the tree, and that pup's kind of pilfering around. Well, he's a pup. You can't expect him to push up on those seasoned dogs and get his spot just yet. So you're really waiting on that maturity to kick off for a dog that's been started with other dogs a lot. Here and there is good for them. You can get them to start going off a lot deeper, a lot quicker, and things like that. But that goes that way. You like one that is compatible or good in check dog nose. Oh, looks good. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, because that's another thing too. And that runs the whole gambit on things. And some guys, they really they want a dog to be a specific thing, or they want it to be compatible with them. But that dog isn't compatible with where they're hunting. That dog isn't compatible with what's out there, what they need, right? So there's a difference in a dog that you need for where you're at versus a dog that you want. Because I might go, I want a dog to stay within 350, but I'm hunting where the coons are super deep. I'm gonna have a heck of a time getting a coon treat at 350, especially if they're deep off in the woods. So we got to have a dog that knows what the woods calls for too, especially if we're hunting them all over. And I don't know, Mike would probably have to be the one to speak on that a little bit. Running them all over different places that probably puts a well-rounded dog together. Honestly, like fine stuff. Mm. Oh wow. Yep. I don't know, man. Yeah. But y'all, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully we can get another one. I think I'll give a little bit of warning next time before I go ahead and go live. I kind of wanted to test this one out and make sure everything worked the way it is. But now I know I got to figure out this because you guys are scrolling up my screen that way, sideways, instead of this way. So I'm having a hard time reading. So we're going to mess around with some stuff. And next time, I don't know when. But y'all just let me know, man. Y'all keep them treed, guys. I'm out of here, man. Yeah. Yeah, you too, Mike. You too, man. Make sure you let us know how all them litters of puppies come out and what your picks are and things like that, man. I'll definitely be interested in that. Uh, yeah, good time for sure. Yep, take it easy, JT. We'll give up people about. I think that's all we got in here for right now. But y'all know what it is, man. Y'all keep them treat out there. I'm gonna figure out how to get out of here. I don't know if I even know how. Sweet deal, man. All right, I'm out.